Sonic, Sonic, Sonic. You've had your ups and downs, highs and lows. You're a delightfully furry, funny blue hedgehog that's always gotta go fast. With a recipe for success such as this, surely the Sonic movie is a guaranteed fortune. Well, I'll be straight with you. It's nearly good. I was cautiously optimistic going into this. The trailers put the film in a jolly light, and I figured this would just be a simple kids movie containing a hefty amount of references to the games, and well, that's all it was. Well, that and references towards pop culture as well. The movie was definitely fun, but unfortunately, this film suffers from the same issues as Sonic X did. When the film was focused on Sonic's relationship with Eggman, it was eccentric and joyful. I never wanted it to end. When the movie was focused on, I don't really even know his name, Sonic and his human friend, it was, yeah. Okay, but not as bad as him. But I couldn't care for this guy and his wife. I felt like way too much time was spent trying to develop this character, which would be fine if he was the main character, but he just isn't. For a movie called Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm pretty sure we saw him the least. There are plenty of children movies with adult humor that's funny for both kids and adults, but unfortunately, Sonic the Hedgehog is not one of them. The jokes are very standard and what you would expect from a movie like this, which is the issue really. They played it too safe. Surprisingly, Sonic had some emotional moments which actually had me quite shocked. I thought we were just gonna get a snarky Sonic in every scene. I mean, we almost did, but then he goes on to talk about how lonely he is and develops this adorable bucket list of things to do in life. His personality is very much more childlike compared to his video game counterpart, but I'll get more into that a bit later. Sonic the Hedgehog has some pacing issues. It took a while to get the plot going. The beginning in particular was too slow. Practically nothing happened in the middle, and all the best scenes happened at the end. Felt like the writers had a clear ending in mind, but didn't really know how to get there. And with that said, thus begins the plot. Sonic came from somewhere, and some bird takes him in as an orphan. Unfortunately, she's so irrelevant that I have forgotten her name, because in the very next scene, she dies. That's because Sonic can run super fast and this Echidna tribe decides to raid their home. Similar to how it happened in Tarzan, if you remember that movie. I mean, how could you forget? Rings are now used like special rings from the classic Sonic games, just for teleportation. I found this to be quite cool. So, Sonic teleports to Earth and lives in a man cave for like 10 years, until he gets so lonely that Sonic decides to run in circles and go super fast to the point of causing a blackout of the entire city. And Sonic's emotional outburst begins the plot. At this point, no-name executives of the government immediately decide to send the lunatic known as Dr. Robotnik in order to catch Sonic and protect the world. Or something like that. You can tell the actors are treating this scene ridiculously, and I commend them for doing so. It adds to the overall charm of the film, as they know not to take this film too seriously. It's just a fun time. Dr. Robotnik spends every moment he can belittling humans, which is some nice foreshadowing for when he creates his own robot helpers. Sonic is on the run, pun intended, and after stalking Irrelevant Human number 1 for 10 years, he decides to hide away in Irrelevant Human's basement so he can teleport to Mushroom Hill Zone. He shows up and tranquilizes Sonic, so now he can't run because his legs feel like spaghetti. I don't know why Eggman just didn't barrage Sonic with this, but whatever. If this no-name normie can catch Sonic within 5 seconds of encountering Sonic, why couldn't this government-approved genius with all of this fancy tech even do this one time? In order to teleport with one of Sonic's rings, he needs to envision that destination in his mind, and as a result of the fact that Irrelevant Human number 1 tranquilized Sonic, he gets guilt-tripped into driving Sonic to San Francisco, as he opened a portal to San Francisco, because the last thing Sonic saw was Irrelevant Human's San Francisco t-shirt. Sonic falls to his knees and his ring collection plunges through the portal and lands on top of some building. So, from this point on until we meet Eggman at the very end, literally nothing happens. They are trying for an adventure movie, but barely any adventure happens. We go to a bar so they can rip off Quicksilver from X-Men. Then they have a car chase scene with Eggman, and then we end up at Irrelevant Character 2's sister's house. Sonic gets his iconic shoes from another Irrelevant Human, and then we travel to the tall, pointy building and Sonic gets his rings. Sweet, the movie's over, right? Nah.
Get a load of this!
Eggman shows up and they rip off X-Men once again. Sonic yeets the two humans off of the building and then throws a ring in front of them in order to teleport them away from the fight. This was actually really cool and emphasized how fast Sonic actually is. 80 minutes into the movie and Sonic and Eggman are finally going at it one-on-one. And it's amazing! We teleport from City Escape to Chunnan to Dusty Desert and then back to Green Hill. I got some really strong Sonic Unleashed vibes from this segment. Huh! Sonic is finally beaten? Sonic is presumed dead until the power of friendship resurrects him and he yeets Eggman to Mushroom Hill Zone. And that's it. The movie is essentially over. Sonic's quest for friends is complete. We get to see Eggman shave his head, grow his mustache, and then Tails shows up looking for Sonic. Well, that's it. I loved how the ending played out, but I didn't particularly enjoy much of the movie otherwise. Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey. He was absolutely amazing, as he always is, and carried every scene he was in. Sadly, Sonic was not Sonic. He's younger than his video game counterpart, and I guess because they're trying to make kids relate to him, he's super hyperactive and dances a lot.
Shut up!
Sonic just doesn't stop talking, which I found to be a fun quirk, but sadly the things he's saying are incredibly lackluster. For a creature that has spent the past 10 years in isolation, he sure does make a plentiful amount of pop culture references. And when I say a plentiful amount, I really do mean like, wow, he just doesn't stop. From relating his mother figure to Obi-Wan Kenobi, to pondering whether or not The Rock will be president anytime soon, it was just very distracting from what was actually going on, which was not much. It took me out of the movie. I know it's a kids film, but I don't go to the cinema to be constantly reminded of reality. I venture off to the movies to escape reality. And honestly, referencing other forms of media is not a personality. It wasn't even funny, and I don't think kids today know who Obi-Wan is or are even old enough to watch Fast and Furious. Sonic the Hedgehog feels more like an origin movie, which is fine. You can't expect everybody to have played the games before, so this is a good way to introduce the character to the big screen. I suppose Sonic is going to age and actually have character development as the film goes on, until we get to the Sonic we all know and love. And honestly, this movie made me genuinely excited for what's to come next. I think they started off as strong as they could. And with Tails coming into the mix to find Sonic while Eggman is figuring out how to get back to Earth, yeah, there's a lot they could do going forward. Eggman is in Mushroom Hill Zone, so I can only imagine that he'll meet Knuckles there, and Knuckles will probably start off as a villain and convert to a good guy, just as he does in the games. Maybe Eggman will use Sonic's quill to develop Metal Sonic, who will steal the Master Emerald from Knuckles and blame it on a blue hedgehog from planet Earth. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. I will admit they had some fantastic shots, especially when they were paying tribute to Quicksilver. Sonic the Hedgehog has always been known for having amazing original soundtracks, but unfortunately, I have already forgotten the score for this movie. It's a travesty because there is a plethora of iconic songs to choose from that could have potentially have been remixed. With all of that said, Sonic the Hedgehog directly reflects the state of the franchise right now. Not bad like Sonic 06, but not good like Sonic Generations. It's more like Sonic Lost World. A fine movie that takes direct notes from other franchises. A movie that suffers from a lack of identity. A solid 6 out of 10. Fun to watch with young family members or to kill a few hours. Thank you for watching.